Dear students, welcome to today. Inshallah, we need to differentiate between the axial and appendicular skeleton, and after that we need to learn more about the pelvic girdle and pectoral girdle. Let's start our lesson today. Skeletal system also includes cartilages, joints, ligaments, and tendons. Let's study each one of them in details. What does it mean? Cartilage, joint, ligament, and tendon. Okay, let's starting with the cartilage. Cartilages, they are type of a connective tissue, or definitely strong connective tissue, consists of cartilaginous cells. What about the location and function of cartilage? As I told you again, in each part I need you to tell me location and function. Location of the cartilages. They are found at the tips of the bones, especially at joints and between vertebrae of the vertebral column. But what about this is the location, okay? And they are doing what? The function protect the bones from corrosion due to the continuous friction between the bones, and also they are form what? Yes, form some body parts like nose, ears, and bronchioles of the lungs. Okay, and the last piece of information here about the cartilage, actually they do not contain a blood vessels. So they get food and oxygen from the bone cells by something called diffusion. Okay, again, the cartilage, they don't contain blood vessels, so they get food and oxygen from the bone cells by diffusion. Again, let me to summarize the cartilage. The type of connective tissue, as we said, consists of cartilaginous cells. Function to protect the bone during the movement or continuous friction from the friction, and also form some body parts. What about the next one, which is joints? Joints, there are three types, but before telling you the types of the joints, joint, it's mean what? Simply any two bones, okay, any two bones meet each other, okay. This meeting of two bones are called what? Joint. Okay, whatever they move or not, it's not necessarily to be a movable joint, as we're going to study right now. Again, and also we have three types of them. One of them called fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints, and synovial joint. Starting with what? With the fibrous joint. Fibrous joint. Well, actually, this type of joint are fused. The bones of this type are fused together, okay, with the fibrous tissue. From its name, fibrous joint. So, the bone that meet each other at this side, they covered by a fibrous tissue. It's so easy, and also they do not allow any type of movement. And before starting to tell you the example, I need to think, okay, we already started in the last episode. By growing older and older, the fibrous tissues that found, okay, in the fibrous joints, they are changed into bone tissue. They are changed into what? Bone tissue. One of the greatest examples that we have, the joints between or connect the bones of the skull. Example, joints connect the bones of the skull together through the serrated tips. They don't allow any movement, and this is a type of what? Fibrous joint. What about the cartilaginous joint? The second type is cartilaginous joint. Well, they are joints connect between the ends of the some adjacent bones. Adjacent, it means they are nearer or very close to each other. They are allow a very limited movement. They allow what? Yes, very limited movement. Who can think in an example inside your body, okay, that allow a limited movement? We said it right now. Yes, the cartilages which found what? Between the vertebrae of the vertebral column. Okay, we have also a picture for you. Get the meaning here? This is the second type of joints, which is called what? Cartilaginous joint. They allow a very limited movement. So the first type, fibrous, they do not allow any movement, such as what? Like joints between bones of the skull, serrated bones. Number two, cartilaginous joint. They allow by what? By a slightly or limited movement, like, yes, like the cartilage which found between the vertebrae of the vertebral column as shown in the figure. Okay. The last type, which is called synovial joint. Actually, synovial, it's a liquid, okay, or substance that found inside this type of joint, so they are called synovial joint. Well, they represent most of the body joint. Represent what? Most of the body joint. They are very flexible and they can stand more and more for shocks or trauma. Okay. What else about this type of joint? They also contain, as I said, synovial fluid or substance which facilitates to be more easier through sliding of the cartilage that covering the bones. That cover what? The bones. We have some properties for this type of joint, like what? Properties of bone in contact in the joint. They covered with a delicate layer of transparent cartilaginous substance, and also the bones are smooth. So what does it mean? Why we need the bone to be smooth? So they allow the movement of the bones easily with less friction. Get the meaning? Well, so we have from the property of the bone that contact with in the joint, in this type of synovial joint, they covered with a delicate layer of transparent cartilaginous substance, and the bones are smooth. And what does it mean? This means what? They allow movement of bones easily with less friction to decrease and to lessen the continuous corrosion of the bone. Okay. After that, we have an example. But actually, before starting the example, we need to divide the example here from examples of synovial joints. Well, we have two types: limited joints and widely or freely. Limited, it's mean what? Huh? Like what? Yes, in your body. Excellent. Elbow and knee joint. Both of them, they are what? They are moved in one direction. So elbow joint and knee joint, they are moved in one direction. So they are limited joint. Synovial limited joint. Easy? Okay. While the other type, it moves in different or wide or freely direction. Like what in your body? Yes, like shoulder joint and hip joint. And for more information, also ankle, it moves in more than one direction. So shoulder joint, hip joint, they are move what or allow movement in what? In many or different directions. Allow the movement of bones in many directions. And those are the different types of joints. Again, we have how many types? 3. Fibrous, cartilaginous, and synovial. Let's do to show our information by a video. This is a type of cartilaginous joints. This is a type of what? Cartilaginous joint. As we said, the cartilaginous joint is what? The joint connect between the end of the some adjacent. We said it what? The bone, they are very close to each other. Okay, like as you see in the picture, like bones in the between the that form vertebra of the vertebral column. Okay, and also other type, but just we have this example in our curriculum. Okay, ligaments. Again, as we finish from the joints, we're going to start in ligaments. Okay, what they are? They are separated bundles of fibers from the connective tissue. Okay, their tips are fixed on the two bones of the joint. Okay, okay. What is the function of the ligament? They link the bone with each other at the joint, because as we said, when two bones meet each other, the side of linking or connecting together, it's gonna be a very weak, and we need to support it by another extra functions. So we have here what? The ligaments. They link the bones with each other at the joints, and also determine the movement of the joint in the different direction. In what? In the different directions. Yet their fibers are characterized by something here. They are very strong, durable. What's in by durability? They are very strong. Okay, strong durability with the presence of a degree of elasticity. Why elasticity? To allow the to prevent their cutting or tearing, and also to allow us for a widely movement, freely movement. We have a question here is what? For give reason for the when I'm going to ask you, the fibers of the ligament are characterized by strong durability with the presence of a degree of elasticity, for just to allow a little increase of their length, to prevent what? Their cutting during the exposure of the external pressure, when you're going to do an extra effort, okay, during the exercise or working out and so on. We have also another question here. Well, give reason for, in some cases, the ligament may be ruptured. Ruptured mean cut. Due to what? Just squeeze your mind for what? Something that's happened for you, twisting or squeezing your leg or something like that. Yes, due to what? Twisting of some joints, as in the case of the cruciate ligament in the knee joint. Okay, and we have here a picture to show that. Yes, we have, this is a ligament. Okay, this is the sheen of the ligament. If you're going to observe it, actually this picture in your curriculum. Okay, the ligament which is tightly connect the two bones at what? At the side of joint. Okay, definitely at what? At the side of joint. Well, after that we have something called tendons. We have what? Tendons. And tendons, they are very important in your curriculum. Well, they are strong connective tissue that link the muscle with the bone. What does it mean? Well, as we said, when the two bones meet each other, they form something called joint for articulation. And we have sometimes they don't allow any movement, like what? Like the joint between bones of the skull. And at this side, we need for more support, so we have what? We have a ligament. But what about the muscle itself? Okay, we need the muscle to contract and relax. We need to fix it on the bone. Well, actually, the fixation of the muscle in the bone, this the function of tendons inside your body. So the tendon, the main function of it, what? Doing what? The fix muscle on the bone. Fix what? Muscle on the bone. Okay. At the joints, which allow the movement of muscle during what? Contraction and relaxation of the muscle. From the examples of the tendon in your body, like Achilles tendon, which connects the gastrocnemius muscle with the heel bone. Okay, and what would happen if this tendon, which is Achilles tendon, is damaged? Okay, again, what would happen if the damaging or due to the extra effort or sudden muscle contraction and the loss of elasticity in the muscle. Well, actually, the symptoms of Achilles tendon tearing is inability of walking. You cannot walk, and also heavy movement of foot and acute pain. You cannot move your leg yet. But one of you asked me, is it necessary the surgical intervention? No, it's not necessarily. And this is the Achilles tendon. Okay, here is it, the Achilles tendon, which is connect the gastrocnemius muscle with the with the bone of the heel. What about the methods of treatment of Achilles tendon if it damaged? Methods of treatment of Achilles tendon, we don't need the surgical intervention, but only in this case we're going to use if it's completely tearing or cut for this tendon. Again, it can be treated with anti-inflammatory and analgesic property, using as a medical splint. Also we can use it, while the surgical intervention we do not use them in just one case, in which case what happened to the tendon in Achilles tendon? Complete tearing for the tendon. If it absolutely cut or teared, we're going to use the surgical intervention. This is the end of this part, and right now we're going to start to know the movement in the living organism. Movement in living organism, we have different types of movement. We have how many types? 3 different types. It may be continuous movement, or positional, or free or total movement. Continuous movement, like what? It happens inside all living organisms, all living organism, due to what? The cytoplasmic streaming for vital or biotic activities. Let me to show something here, video to show that. This is a cytoplasmic streaming, okay, inside Eludia plant. You can observe the movement of the cytoplasm, okay? Did you observe it? There is a movement, a circulation always, in each time, okay? And just to show you and to know that there is a continuous movement inside all cells in the living organism, okay? Okay, this is the movement or continuous movement of the cytoplasm inside the plant cell or inside Eludia plant, okay? I hope you got the meaning of cytoplasmic streaming. So, the first type of movement that we have, continuous movement inside all different type of cells, like cytoplasmic streaming as it's shown in the video. Well, the second type, which is what? Positional movement, which is what? Positional is mean what? It's just a part of the living organism. It's only, it will be moved, okay? Not the all parts. It's not the all living organism, just a part of it. Okay, movement of what? Organ or some organs inside the position, like what? Like the peristalsis in vertebrate intestine, the movement of the small and large intestine inside your body to move the food from part to another part, okay? It considered as what? A positional movement, while the movement or circulation, the cytoplasmic streaming inside your body cell, this is called what? Continuous movement. Easy? And also the movement of insectivorous plants, some plants that catch the insects. And what else? Like mimosa plant, and found in plants and animals. Let me show something here also. Okay, this is the movement of insectivorous plants. Movement of insectivorous plant. It is an example of positional movement. And also the movement of the mimosa plant. It is an example of positional movement. Okay? Okay, did you observe that? It's the successive opening and closing of the mimosa plant. The last type of movement which is free or total movement. Free or total what? Movement. The first type is continuous movement, second type position, third type is what? Free or total. It is a movement of the whole body, okay? The whole body moves from one place to another. Like what? Like most of animals and humans and so on. Like what? Like most of animals. What else in our lesson today? We need to study the movement in plants, and after that we're going to study what? The movement in human. Let's start to study the movement in plants. Movement in plants. Actually, the plant, from examples as we observe it, moving the plant leaves like what? Like mimosa plant that responds to touch darkness, the high and low salinity and so on. This is called what? Movement of plant leaves, okay, to respond to touch or darkness. What else? Also, the sleeping movement. The what? The sleeping movement. The successive opening and closing is called what? Sleeping movement. Like what? Like some leguminous plant and mimosa, their leaves partially closed at night and open during daytime. This type of sleeping movement. Okay? But what else? We have another type of movement, which is tropism. Which is what? Tropism. Well, actually we studied the tropism in the last year. Okay, geotropism and also phototropism. Let me to remind you. It responds of different parts of the plant to the light, gravity, and humidity. Light, we call it phototropism. Gravity, geotropism. Okay? Well, the example that we have two examples. Okay? But before starting the example, you have to know that the main reason of tropism as a result of effect of auxins, and auxins, they are hormones of the plant. Auxins, they are what? Hormones of the plant. We're going to study them in the next chapter. Well, the pulling movement or haptotropism. Well, we have two examples, okay? One of them by tendril and other by pulling root. Again, one of them by what? By tendrils, and the other type by what? By root. The first one, pulling movement. We have an example here. Two examples. They are very important. One of them in pea plant, the tendril of the pea plant. One. Let's to know what happened for the tendril, okay, and what is the type of this movement. It occurs by tendrils. Occurs by what? Tendril. While here, the other side, it occurs by what? Pulling roots. Occurs by what? Pulling roots. In case of tendril, it helps the weak stem to grow in vertical position. Okay, for what? Why we need the plant to grow in the vertical position? To get the light and the suitable amount of light and so on. While in case of the bulbous or corms, like for example, like some like potatoes, okay, they pull down some plants part to be a suitable distance from what? From the soil surface, to help the aerial parts, means the part that exposed to the air, okay, to resist the action of the wind, to be more strong and be more erect, okay. But what about the mechanism of pulling movement in the pea plant? Well, the mechanism, it's mean what? How does it work? Number one, the tendril moves in the air searching for contact or solid object for support, while the mechanism in the pulling movement, like bulbous or corms, the root contact, okay, to the pole of the subterranean stem. Of what? Subterranean stem, under the soil surface, After that, the tendril twists around the support many times for what? For support and to be more strong. So its length decreases and the plant stem gets close and near to the support and grow vertically. This picture shows the example of pulling movement in case of bulbs and corbs. After that, the tendril becomes more thicker, laying down some appropriate amount of mechanical support like cellulose to be strong and give mechanical support. As we said, twisting many times of tendril around the support is due to what? We have two sides for the tendril, the near side to the support and the far side. Okay, well, when the slow growth of the side in contact with the support, I mean the side nearer to the support, it has a low amount of oxygen, has what? Low amount of oxygen. So its growth will be also slow. On the other side, it contains much more oxygen. So what happened in this case? Fast growth of the side that away from the support, okay, the farthest one, that causes elongation and twins around the support many times, okay. But remember, if the tendril doesn't find a support, it wilts and dies suddenly, okay. We have also here a video to show the tendril. Okay, this is a mechanism of the tendril of pea plant. Okay, the plant grows, okay, and it's a very weak plant, so it needs a kind of support. Needs what kind of support? Which is what? Tendril. Okay, did you observe it? It's a very thin, searching for the support. Excellent. Yep, I need you to observe it. Searching for what? Support or a solid object. We have two sides. It has what? Two sides. The side near to the support, it has what? A low oxygen. Did you observe it? What does happen here? Yes, the tendril searching for support. Okay, and as soon as it got it, it twins many times around it to allow the plant grow in vertical position. Okay. And we said that the main reason of twinning, the difference between oxygens in the low growth, the side contact to the support, and the far side, or the far side of the tendril itself, okay, which contains much more oxygens, so its growth will be faster than the contact or the nearer. The last piece of information in our episode today, which is the cytoplasmic streaming, okay, such as what? Such as the cytoplasmic streaming in the eludia leaves and the stem. At the end of the episode, we need to summarize some information for us, and don't forget to study hard for the next time. See you.